Huge shout out to our event sponsor, Card Nexus. They've been incredible to work with. You guys know Spiritforged is now live on Card Nexus, so keep track and organize your new cards with Card Nexus. They've really been working super hard on trying to build a type of home for TCG players. They really trying to prioritize modern tools, but really no paywall whatsoever. So Card Nexus is 100% free. They help players and collectors manage their cards with features like smart bulk import, portfolio value with insights. As I mentioned before, you could kind of see the trends in your cards, or your Spiritforged cards increasing in value because someone popped off with them in the regionals, or they kind of reducing them. You want to kind of catch wind of letting go of a card earlier. So I love that feature from Card Nexus. Of course, completion tracking for those that want to have a full complete set of each and every card in Spiritforged. And of course, speaking of new features, in just a couple weeks they're going to be introducing a card scanner, an updated marketplace, and all included into a mobile app as well. And lastly, because as I mentioned before, Spiritforged just released yesterday, in order to celebrate, Card Nexus is doing a booster box giveaway. So those on YouTube, those on Twitch, you guys can type !Card Nexus, use that sign up link in the chat, and if you sign up before February 23rd, which is when the giveaway drawing will be happening, you guys will be entered into that Spiritforged booster box giveaway. So one more time, shout out to Card Nexus. Said Corey, or not, as Corey said, Ezreal versus Sivir.
Starting on the obelisk here, so the Sivir already off to a decent start here, and the stack deck is gonna presumably be looking either for whichever we're missing, Ramp Piece or the Dazzling Aurora. I mean, the overall strategy at the end of the day of these Aurora decks hasn't really changed. They've got some new fancy tools and some fun little gimmicks to add to what they're doing. But overall, going to be exactly the same. But a pretty important card here, Malzahar. This was a set 1 card, guys. I don't know if you guys remember what it was, but this Malzahar actually can do some pretty cool, fun stuff in the Ezreal deck.
Yeah, that is super spicy. I don't believe we've seen Malzahar at all in the Spiritforged meta. Let's go ahead and take a little bit of a read. Kill a friendly unit or gear, exhaust me, and then add 2 power to your mana pool. Okay, that is indeed some spicy. We're talking about 2 power. That's 2 power for rebukes. That's 2 power for mind splitters. These power hungry cards late game might make a difference. That's multiple Malzahars at that. So let's see what this Ezreal is cooking. It looks like he's bringing something we've never seen in any of our events, perhaps maybe a lot of people never seen in general. So let's see, can this Ezreal get a bit under the Aurora build? Because we know once Dazzling Aurora comes online, it is a really tough time to deal with. Is there any gear removal you could think of, Corey, that would be pretty effective for something like an Aurora deck? As we see the Mind Splitter coming down, this might be one way of dealing with Aurora.
I think this is the most effective. Yeah, I think this is certainly the most effective way to deal with it. A 7 and pass signals either they lose or it's Aurora next turn, and the Mind Splitter, you're actually going to see this deck loop a lot of Mind Splitter. I played against a similar version in round 1, and let me just tell you, this is not going to be the last Mind Splitter that we're going to see this match.
Yeah, you know, the Obelisk of Power enabling him to get perfect in the round. Or actually, why didn't he use Mauser? Or because you have to kill a unit, right? Kill a friendly unit or a gear. He didn't really want to kill that seal. Didn't really want to kill that champion Ezreal. So makes total sense. Now that the Dazzling Aurora is nowhere to be found, goes ahead and feels comfortable pushing in with Ezreal champ. However, perhaps that could have been a bait to just get the Fight or Flight out of the Sivir's hand. Just from that Mind Splitter alone, it feels like a whole lot of tempo has been acquired by this Ezreal, pushing in with the Malzahar, attacking the first point of this quarterfinals.
So here's one of the new tools for the Aurora decks. Doing this on the 9 power or the 9 energy turn. Repeating this called shot, if you're able to find the Aurora here, is going to be pretty nice. Being able to dig for 4 cards through like that is just making these decks a lot more consistent. Being able to do it on this turn, and Sivir also being able to get the treasure, or the gold rather, every time that you recycle a rune means that you're not really falling as far behind as you would like a traditional misfortune would.
Yeah, I love it. You're able to dig for those key pieces like the DAs. It makes, as you mentioned, your deck a whole lot more consistent with the call shots. I believe, did we see a stack deck as well? They're electing to run both of the dig deep package there.
Yeah, they've got all of it here, and we're going to be recycling all those runes that we used because with the quad gold shot, technically, we were able to find a Dazzling Aurora, and the Aurora is going to trigger. Most likely, we're going to be looking at a Mind Splitter or a Dead Bloom Predator here, and we're going pretty deep to find one. 16, never mind, it's a Volibear, surprise! The
Surprise.
Volibear jump scare.
That is a
Here it
Tank
comes.
Shield 3 Volibear coming down, so perhaps striking a bit of fear in the eyes of Ezreal. That is just one formidable foe. You just don't have the equal might package, but I say that, but oh,
Oh!
the factory recall main
Disaster
board.
strikes. Wow. Okay, yeah, technically there are some ways. Oh, and we're gonna Mind Splitter them too. This is just, folks, you may want to look away if you've got small children.
Mm-hmm.
Uh
Officially not
Kisamo seems
safe
to
for
be
work going down. This is a butt
yeah.
spanking coming out from Ezreal, bringing the DA back to hand when your opponent doesn't even have enough runes to play it the next turn. But to make matters worse, the Mind Splitter just completely taking it out of the equation. That's 2 Dazzling Auroras down. Only has the one remaining left in the deck out of those 25 cards. It could be closer to the bottom. Sivir might not be able to get her game plan going anytime soon. And of course, it looks like Ezreal, come this next turn, is going to be able to go ahead and conquer both battlefields each time. Because if Volibear pushes, you defend at 13. A Mind Splitter, or I should say 2 Mind Splitters, are going to be attacking for 14 without taking into account something like a Frigid Touch, a Stupefy, perhaps even an Accelerated Watcher to bring that shield back to neutral 10. So a lot of options I want to save for Ezreal, and we can't really say the same for Sivir as she invested a whole lot of rune economy just that previous turn for that DA.
Yeah, the good news is you've got the Volibear, so gonna play scared a little bit. Don't we have the double challenge and the punch first in our hand, so no real reason to just throw the Volibear out there and let it die to adjust, a bunch of Mind Splitters and Miles of Hearts or something. Good here on Kisamo to not just, get too excited and try to get the Volibear in there. You still have plenty of time. This is not a deck that's, going to race you to 8 very quickly anytime soon. They also kind of want to take things pretty slow. Notice the Sigil of the Storm as the battlefield for Ezreal. Definitely a sign of a deck that's not trying to, double conquer and go crazy. But Mind Splitter's coming back. We thought about sending it in both. Gonna reconsider here.
Yeah, and I think perhaps a reconsideration because of the Yone. He probably wants to keep that Ezreal champ in the back line, but Yone can so easily pick him off. So perhaps thinking, does he want to split the difference with these Mind Splitters and then push up both of these units? Volibear is going to be attacking for 10, of course. So 7 plus 3, you're going to be you're going to be offering up the trade. But as we said before, you could add something like a Frigid Touch, something like a Stupefy, and does for the hold the battlefield game plan. You're 3 points up on your opponent. I guess you just want to hold for victory at this position. It seems early, but it doesn't seem incorrect at any means either.
Okay, so here comes the shovel. We didn't have anything to bring back with it, so I guess for now, no real reason to put it on any. I mean, I guess there's no real reason. I mean, we had the seal, so we could have just put it on somebody.
Yeah, I would
For
imagine
a little
you
bit more,
put
right?
it on. Maybe he didn't want to invest anything in the discard. Perhaps treasure trove, stack deck. You put it back into you put the factory recall back to the deck. I don't know. I'm right there with you. I feel like last right should have been good if you hold. Actually, there's no units in the discard. That's what it is. Oh, there's a Malzahar. Right.
Yeah, I figure maybe we're representing something here with the seal instead, but I think it's probably good to get that on there. But here comes a Mind Splitter back. So that's Mind Splitter count number 3, everyone, if you're keeping track at home. My guess is we'll probably have about 17 Mind Splitters before this match is over.
Something along those
That,
lines.
that may or may not be an exaggeration. So we're gonna see a hand of double singularity, retreat, and a seal of discord. So one of the singularities gonna hit the bin, and
Hmm.
that's gonna leave kind of just a lot of blanks in the Ezreal's hand. The retreat definitely is just another mind splitter at this point, basically. So very likely we're going to see mind splitter number 4 sometime soon. Uh, and then interesting that we didn't at least just play. Oh no, I guess that's never mind. Sorry, back up. I take back what I was going to
I know
say.
what you're gonna say, like the retreat to get the mind splitter back at reaction speed, but then it leaves it in the hand, right? I was thinking the same for a slight second. However, I wonder if Sivir is gonna neglect him the retreat, because there is no window of opening if you don't conquer here, as
Yeah.
we see here. Not only did you not want to risk getting the Sigil of the Storm, or not risk, but triggering the Sigil of the Storm, going back a rune as well, but you open up the window to get retreat to allow that mind splitter to go back in hand. But either way is going to result in the same thing, because whether you do it on your opponent's turn or on your turn is going to equate to the exact same thing. It might just be a repeated mind splitter coming down and pretty much dismantling this Sivir hand. Imagine if one of the new cards they found was that third Dazzling Aurora. Her game plan, actually, she doesn't even have enough runes. She goes up to 7 next turn. Whatever she did when she floated all that energy and then paid the DA is really coming back to bite her, because she just doesn't have enough. This is a late game Sivir deck without the late game capabilities in terms of rune usage. So it just seems like a free game so far. But of course, this is all from the back of setting things up. I don't believe we've seen the Malzahar come in clutch just yet. Or was the second Mind Splitter played with the 2 power for Malzahar? I don't think he sacrificed anything yet.
He's been, I believe he has so far had no text on him, just a 4 cost, 3
Mm-hmm.
power, getting in there for points. Sometimes you got to do double duty.
Oh my
Oh, and
goodness,
it's just a
Corey.
raw third mind split over. So that's the power of these purple decks, man. Like one called shot off the top, and all of a sudden your hand is stacked, and you found like the exact perfect card that you wanted. So we knew about 3 of these cards. The new ones are going to be Gust, Fight or Flight, and Dead Bloom Predator. So can't even play the Dead Bloom Predator next turn. But to me, yeah, I was going to say the Punch First is certainly the most impactful. Being able to generate that much additional power for just 1 energy can just blow up some combats and make it just kind of impossible to come back from some of them. I'm sure a lot of people in chat probably got punch firsted at a pre-rift event in the last week or so. So I think that they know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. I mean, Mind Splitter, one of the most impactful cards in all the Riftbound, I want to say. It looks like the Italian players in chat call it the good old ciao ciao, saying, in other words, bye-bye to your hand, bye-bye to your cards. And that is 3 ciao
Oh,
ciaos at that. So well done so far, as Ezreal is going up to 4 points so far, leaving the window open. He's saying, you come at me. I have 14 defending might. But more importantly, I just don't think it's worthwhile to send in something like a Yone, follow that up with a mind. Actually, I would have liked to see him retreat all his units. It only kind of signals to me that 5 runes, he's going to be able to make use of it on his opponent's turn, but we didn't get to see anything like a frigid touch. What do you think he's up to, Corey?
I think he's just hyped that he's gotten the triple mind splitter down. We know that there's the retreat. It could be a second retreat. If he's leaving them both there, my guess is that he found another retreat. And if we're just gonna retreat both of those, that's gonna be pretty tough. So the Chow Chow counter is just gonna be climbing and climbing. I said 17, and I was joking, and I think we may actually get to that number if we get to 3 games.
Oh, I think you said it perfectly. Is the retreat, right? So he sends in, tries to invest over 14, but you're actually falling into the play he wants. He wants you to overextend. He wants you to have units on the battlefield. And it looks like he has to do what he has to do. So sending in Mind Splitter, perhaps just offering a trade 1-for-1. He knows the retreat's in hands.
The
He's
Chow
saying,
Chow trade?
oh, okay. Stupefy is
Stupefy!
perfect.
Oh, baby. Okay. Not good news if you're Kisamo.
Oh, yeah. A bit of bad news bear for Kisamo. That's just 6 might. And he was so I want to say tunnel vision in a sense on that retreat play, forgot about other counterplay options like a simple stupefy, bringing him down a size. But of course, as a 2 can play at the combat trick game, the challenge will be deployed out. The Volibear doing 10 damage, vice versa, 7 damage on himself. But the retreat coming in to save the Mind Splitter, and the showdown is still going down. It is still 7 might to the 6 current might, and as it stands, he is winning it. But we did see there was a secondary challenge. You might as well go for it one more time, but instead goes for the fight or flight, funny enough.
Yeah, I didn't want to lose his Volibear there. That's enough damage between the 2 challenges to be able to... Oh, no, because we retreated the first one. Maybe that's what he was thinking, but it got retreated, so no damage was done there. So I think challenge has got to be just better. Well, actually, he's got the... never mind. You kind of want to just fight or flight this because you don't want a Mind Splitter in the discard for the last rites.
True. We see the rebuke on the Yone coming down. Did Malzahar kill anything? Okay, I keep waiting for... Actually, Malzahar's exhausted, so you can't even do it. Okay, I keep waiting for him to get some kind of value in this game. I'm sure he's good. There's a reason he's mainboarding at the minimum 2 Malzahars, but we haven't really seen it just yet. But I'm patiently waiting for it because I do think it might come at clutch. You know, you could sacrifice a seal. You get 2 power maybe on your final push. So perhaps, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not completely sold on it, but I do like the spice.
Yeah, the interaction with Treasure Trove is certainly nice, and the times where you're able to get that extra power. I mean, like you said, there's a lot of heavy power cards here, you know, Rebuke, double chaos, the Mind Splitters, double chaos, and this deck wants to play a lot of Mind Splitters, so it's going to be trying to hit that double chaos every single time. So Malzahar, sometimes he just needs to turn something into 2 power to have that be affordable.
You know, it does say friendly gear. I wonder if there's some kind of token slash gold generation, because that would be like the perfect synergy for the Malzahar. You just sacrifice a simple gold, but I guess it's trading just net 1 power, right? Because the gold is a power in itself, so perhaps that's not too great. But let's just see how things pan out.
I'm seeing it. My brain is I'm figuring it out. We can kill the Mind Splitters with the Malzahar,
and then the shovel.
And then it's in the discard for us to get it back when we conquer with the shovel.
Okay, I see where you're going at. So
chat,
perhaps
I'm figuring it's happening. I'm starting to get it. Oh my god. Okay, so yeah, so that's a potential line that you have there. So wow, the shovel is like low-key one of the better cards from Spiritforged, and I don't think it gets enough. I don't think it gets enough talk.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we've mainly only seen it in the Miracle Silver list, but for those at home, we keep calling it the shovel, but of course, just a little nickname. It is the last right. I'll pull it there on screen. To attach it, you do have to recycle 2 of your discard into your main board, or recycle into your deck, of course, and then pay the cost, and then that is +2 might, as you guys see the +2 down there. But more importantly, when you conquer and you hold, you get to play a unit from your discard pile. So I think that's what Corey's hinting at, that you're able to bring back those Mind Splitters if you sacrifice them, but perhaps just getting the value pushing forward with a 7 might unit might be better, or you do both, right? You swing in with 7, you conquer, then Malzahar. Actually, no. Let's just let the Ezreal pro player, I call him pro because I have a lot of fans of him in chat right now. But he does have to take down the Mind Splitter with the Boots of Swiftness, holding down for 9 might. Not impossible, but he is thinking about it. Does he at least want to conquer the Sigil? Or wait, he's looking at the hand again. He played the other Mind Splitter? Wasn't there already 3? Did he retreat it when we didn't see it? I must have looked away.
No, there was it was from the challenge from the on the Volibear and the previous combat. So yep. So for those keeping track at home, the Chow Chow counter now up to 5, and we're only in game 1.
Impressive stuff coming out. That isn't it. I think that was 4 from Ezreal, 1 from the side of Sivir, but does decide to push in with 14 total might. Should be sufficient enough, as we see just a trade 1-for-1 Mind Splitter. But now I believe the last right could come into play. You can't actually, not really, because there's only 3 runes available. If you could just have it back to hand to play later, perhaps, but he's
Oh,
almost
oh.
thinking about playing the
Oh, he's teasing
Malzahar.
us. He's teasing us with the Malzahar activation. So
No, I think you save it. You save it for when you have a bit more runes. You only have 3 runes available. Just don't. I mean, you almost want to get to 6 points though and set up a final push, but a pack of wonders. We rarely see that card. That is another way of getting the Chow Chow counter up even further.
all
Unbelievable. This
right, we're sitting
Ezreal
on
is
another
cooking. I see where
one.
the Malzahar comes to play. It is strictly to rinse and repeat, mind splitter after mind splitter. This guy is cooking. He's looking to do some work out in Bologna as he is an Italian player who's right there in the home base territory. I think he's going to make a good surprise, perhaps revealing a little sauce today, but not all the sauce. He's saving it for the event, I would imagine.
Yeah, this just in, TCG player is now sold out of mind splitters. It looks like.
There's very few decks that can
What?
handle this. I'll be completely honest. I'm curious to see if Ezreal does end up moving forward, which at the minimum it looks like he will be getting that game 1 because things are just going from bad to worse for the Sivir player. You're still not even at a dazzling Aurora territory with 9 runes rather. Even then, I still don't think it would be the saving grace for Sivir. So bare minimum, I do think Ezreal's looking good to close things out for game 1. And keep in mind, Sivir was our #1 seed. So Sivir was on the play here. So that was maybe something to play because Ezreal did have 4 runes on turn 1 because of Obelisk of Power. He was able to kind of expedite the release of Mind Splitter. So maybe in a bit of a slower game, it might be a bit harder. But now, Mind Splitter is going down to just a single 1 on the board because I would imagine that Mind Splitter
Oh
is going to be
no.
heading to the trash.
We're gonna take that. Okay, I was gonna say we can't take the mind splitter. We can't have the Chow Chow on Chow Chow crime happen here. That's not allowed.
Right.
Taking the singularity makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I guess, Singularity Bellows Breath combo would have destroyed the entire back line or 6 and then 2 or 2 1 1. No, actually, the Volibear would survive. But if he picked up something like a Watcher, no, I wouldn't. Why wouldn't Singularity have a tough time dealing with either of these units?
The third singularity for Ezreal off the top would be extra bad. I think is really what probably the play is. Just make sure Ezreal gets the draw after playing a single singularity anyway. So I think it's really just making sure that you don't get double singularity this turn
Okay.
in case he draws that. So that's at least my sort of interpretation of what Kisamo would be thinking.
Right, you're totally right. He does go up to 12 runes. That technically is a window for a double singularity play. So perhaps just being conscious of that, of course, or cautious of that. But has the opportunity to go up to 6 points with a simple conqueror. I feel like the Ezreal champ has gotten enough value this game. Those double cost shots earlier on to find more and more mind splitters this game. I think you kind of just go ahead and sacrifice them, send them to Sigil of the Storm. But let's see what goes down. The treasure trove coming down. He has the seals to go ahead and activate it. Channel 1, draw 1 immediately. But the Pack of Wonders doing the 1-2 combo. I haven't seen treasure trove and Pack of Wonders since Season 1 China Regionals where MF Aurora was on this package. Or it might have not even been Aurora, but Miss Fortune was on the Pack of Wonders package as well.
Yeah, this Malzahar treasure trove thing, we could have all been doing this. This is not like a brand new thing that's been all of a sudden, like, we could have just been doing this before. But now, just like the power of cards like Called Shot and Ezreal, like you're just filtering and drawing. Like there's 15 cards left in tigerdeath's deck, and I think he knows the bottom like 8 or 9 or something like that at this point.
If not the
So
entire deck at this point, right? We're only talking about 14, make that 13 cards. And he's sending one. Actually, no. He did send 2 there to the bottom. So he would have to know the top 11 cards, which if we take into account, that's been like the 3rd call shot this game. He's pretty close to knowing the remaining of the deck. I'm curious to know if he's taking notes because he's playing kind of speedy. So I don't think he's just taking complete notes on everything in his deck. Sometimes is a little bit of overkill. I think he's still in a great, fantastic position as he pushes forward with an accelerated Watcher. This looking like a double conquer, if I do say so.
This deck is awesome.
Right.
Could we call it Italian Ezreal? Can that be the definition of the way we designate this deck is Italian Ezreal? Is chat cool with that? Is that what we can call it?
Yeah, we'll let chat name it. I have a funny feeling it might just be something along the lines of like Chow Chow Ezreal, something like that.
That could be that might
An
be it.
Italian
That might just
Ezreal
be
could be
better.
cool. Chat, coin it for us. What we'll maybe have to talk to tigerdeath. If he takes it all the
Yeah.
way, we might do a little winners interview, and we'll let him, the champion today of today's 1K, go ahead and name his own Ezreal build, because this is something
Yeah,
we've
you
never
were
seen
right.
before.
All right, Chow Chow Ez.
It's fair play for me. I love the name. Does go ahead and pushes everything he has remaining with the last right. Not going to be able to make full use of the last right. More so on the hold rather than the conquer. If it's going to be able to stick around, because 7 plus the 2 is 9. The Mind Splitter single-handedly can't accomplish that, of course. So pushes to go up to 6 points, which seems very likely, but that is a shield 3. So defending for 15 total might. I haven't done the math, but 15 is a lot.
I'm seeing some other names in the chat for Ezreal, but since they're not in English, I don't know if I'm saying a bad word or not. So unfortunately, I'm going to refrain from reading them. But
Yeah.
bringing in the Mind Splitter with this too, I think that's playing around a punch first potentially. It's been a full 5 minutes since tigerdeath hasn't seen Kisamo's hand, so he could have anything at this point, really.
Right. And just like that, Ezreal just continuously rank up the advantage in board state and card advantage. He's looking really good, as we mentioned before, to close things out. And somehow it just hasn't been in the situation where you're up to 9 runes. Perhaps Sivir is no longer playing for the Dazzling Aurora game plan. She's probably seen the majority of her units anyways, as the DA is probably nowhere to be found. As we mentioned before, 2 of the Dazzling Auroras already in the discard pile. 1, 2, so the third one probably not going to pay too much dividends going forward, as Ezreal's at 6 points. If you're able to hold here, you go up to 7, and then you just have to push on forward. Does he have a second Watcher in hand that might just be perfect enough to close things out? Or he does have some wiggle room. We're talking about a Sivir at 2 points. You can retreat everything back, develop the board for at least 1 to 2 turns. At the worst, Sivir goes up to 6 points, and then push everything in when you do have that Watcher Bellows Breath combo.
All right, so a couple of Mind Splitters are just going to do the old Spider-Man meme here and just look at each other and say, me? Okay, yeah, so we'll just go down here. Here comes the Yone promo card from Spiritforged. Pretty cool card. Unfortunately, not going to be able to do anything just this. Oh, never mind. I'm completely wrong. Here comes a Ride the Wind.
And just like that, Corey, every single unit available to Ezreal has been dealt with. Wait a minute. Is this the start of the stabilization process for Sivir? She just eliminated everything on the battlefield. At the best, Ezreal can accelerate to conquer a single battlefield, but Yone is a powerful card. Anything that you just play in base, there's at least going to be 1 open battlefield, and Yone has exactly 7 might. It doesn't trade like challenge. You're able to deal with the Mind Splitter. Oh, and to make matters worse, Devlin Predator, you go up to 8 runes next turn. If Sivir takes this down, it would be incredible to see. I could have sworn Ezreal had it wrapped up.
Yeah, if you had a tick meter as far as who was in the lead, tigerdeath has been kind of has been in the advantage for most of the game so far. And not saying that he's completely out of it or anything, but Kisamo is starting to claw back in here. Losing the Dead Bloom Predator, certainly not ideal, but we still have the Boots of Swiftness with the Yone, and we've got a Ride to Win in the hand, so we're going to be able to start to close the gap on the point totals.
I do believe so. It looks like Pack of Wonders, or the other way around, the Treasure Trove coming down, and Pack of Wonders bringing it back. So this is one way of recurring the card advantage back and forth. Pack of Wonders, Treasure Trove, vice versa. Just drawing each time you bring back that Treasure Trove back to hand. So I'm loving the synergy, but the thing is, that's virtually all you're doing for the turn. I was almost slightly kidding saying you have a lot of room, but eventually Sivir's gonna catch up. I mean, you're attacking with Yone for 7. You do have to do 9. If you invest a little bit more, something. Actually, you have to invest before the combat, unless he's going to challenge after the fact, because the damage is going to stay for the turn. Oh, the double Yone Conquer, Corey. That's an impressive 7 plus 7, 14 total damage on that Mind Splitter. Are we seeing a world of this comeback for Sivir? This might be the most impressive comeback since I've seen a Kaiser come back from 1 point against a Draven at 7 points.
Now we still got the Sivir in our champion zone. There we go, I was going to say. So we've got 2 threats down. And the Chow Chow counter at 7 for this game. I don't know how many more are be getting played. If I see a Soul Gorger come down to take back a Mind Splitter, I don't know what I'll do. Just saying, by the way.
We're freaking out, but I don't think we would have seen it already, as he does just have 15. Wait, he's putting cards. Actually, the last right has been recycling cards from the discard, of course. So it does have a bit more cards to work with. But the fact that he keeps recurring the Pack of Wonders Treasure Trove combo signals to me he doesn't have the perfect combination to close out this game. The Fizz will be enabling him to get another Call Shot more than likely, unless there's another spell that feels a little bit better. But Call Shot seems to be the proper choice. But look at what we're staring at, Corey. That's a Sivir. That's a Yone. Yone deals with Fizz, of course. Sivir conquers up to 7. And then Ezreal is forced to take down both battlefields. If not, that's going to be a hold from 7 to 8, accomplishing the most incredible comeback we've ever seen in Runes of Rift history.
Yeah, we were, I don't want to say we were clowning on Kisamo, but he was not in a good spot about maybe about 10 minutes ago in real time. So and Tiger's really just digging here at this point. He's looking for the last few ways to be able to kind of close things out here, but not being able to conquer is difficult because then you can't use your last rights. But with this Yone that just keeps kind of just running around, he's just going to keep sniping everything that's in the base. So Tiger's actually kind of locked at this point until he can get this Yone off the field.
Yeah, this is such a tricky position. And what am I missing? How does the Pack of Wonders keep getting unexhausted? Or return?
I think he might be...
Because hasn't he used the Pack of Wonders more than once this turn? What am I missing there?
I think he might be just showing him that this might be like a communication thing potentially. Because it looks like Kisamo is typing to tigerdeath. Yeah, so I think it was like some conversation with the players about maybe an interaction or.
Either way, he keeps getting the channel rune. He keeps getting the plus one draw.
Maybe he like did he not get a rune from Pack of Wondering back the treasure trove or something like that? I don't know, but I think it was just some sort of verification between the two players.
Okay. Does get the call shot. I think they did rewind slightly. That's what it was, because the call shot is just now resolving, getting 2 more additional cards, but all you have left is 7 runes. I don't think we saw that second ride the win in hand when he did the Mind Splitter earlier, so you know the Yone double conquer is probably out of the question. But you do have, at the minimum, as I said, a double conquer potential for the Sivir. Conquer the left, conquer the right, take out the Fizz. And as we said before, you're forcing Ezreal to take down both units in that same turn. Not impossible. Let's try to think of our outs here, Core. You think something like a Watcher repeated Bellows Breath clears everything? Yone's at 7. Watcher brings it down to 4. No.
Barring whatever cards, no. I was gonna say Singularity plus Stupefy is probably your best bet for 7, but it's actually a whole lot of nothing. It turns out. So this may be a turn of like a rebuke, possibly with some potential backup. Just knowing that if this Yone conquers another open battlefield, it's just basically disaster.
It really is. The only out he has is to draw that third singularity, most likely. He needs to deal with both of these units because I believe Sivir is all but exhausted in terms of units. There might not be very much. On top of that, you only have 2 cards in hand, so you're looking to hit some good cards at the time. Actually, I'm remembering now there's indeed a Deadbloom Predator off the top, but we're seeing the Rebuke coming down, a worthy investment. The Yone can definitely get played out one more time, but if you play the Yone, you won't be able to double conquer. All Ezreal has to do this next turn is double conquer, send the Fizz, send the Watcher, which, looking at things, I don't think we've seen 2 Watchers in this game. Yeah, we've seen 1 Watcher. There's no way an Ezreal player is not running more than one Watcher. So in that hand of 7 cards, I'm very confident there's gonna be something like an accelerated Watcher potential coming out the next turn. That is the main thing Sivir has to be considerate of going forward, because that might just be enough to close things out, and Sivir getting awfully close, but perhaps Ezreal had it the entire time.
Well, the Fizz can conquer with last rites, and then can play
True.
and then we can play the Watcher from the discard, right?
Yeah, you definitely can. You're gonna have enough runes. You could play it and accelerate to push on over. So whichever battlefield stays open, as you said, Corey, the Fizz goes in with the last right. You have plenty of seals to do that. So you need to have something like a punch first, maybe even a ride the win. But I guess you can play something from the discard as well for the Sivir player. But what's in the trash for her?
We've got a Deadbloom Predator in there.
Too many big units. You're not enough for the 5 runes she has available.
The Yone, right? We replay the Yone.
It's in hand.
Oh, no, it's rebuked in our hand.
You could definitely play it, but
right,
not from the last right.
Yeah, the no value last rights doesn't feel great in a game where you've been pretty far behind.
So saying
that is going to be a pretty big Sivir for the time being.
Gets the ganking and the +2, but I'm just not saying how it's going to come into play. If you could go ahead and move it on over, because you do have the Boots of Swiftness, like you even need it, because you do have the keyword ganking either way. But you should be going up to 6. Perhaps Ezreal saying, wait a second, I do have something at this showdown. What can they possibly have? Perhaps a ride the win of your own. You ride the win Fizz over to the Sigil, hold for 8. I don't think we've seen any ride the wins from Ezreal, so perhaps he's not running it, but there's always a potential when we're talking about Chaos decks.
Yeah, with the decks like these, you can run a spicy one of basically anything, you know what I mean? Because you're going to effectively see your entire deck more games than you're not. These 12 cards that are there certainly at this point have to be known. So I think we're going to go for the play that we talked about here. Let's see. Few cards Kisamo could have. Fight or Flight would probably be among one of the ones you'd really want to see here.
I believe he might be going for that straightforward play, but not allowing the Fizz to conquer. But actually, because he's scared of the Mind Splitter coming down, he wants to go ahead and use the Punch first. Interesting. I think that's exactly what he needs, because there won't be another window. Actually, there will be another window for the showdown, but just preemptively Punch firsting, we don't get to see that too often.
Yeah, I'm not immediately understanding this, though. I'm sure there is a reason to it. So
the Mind Splitter is the only thing I could think of, right? Because you can't play action speed further as a reaction to the Mind Splitter activation. So perhaps worried about a Mind Splitter, but a Mind Splitter doesn't win the game at the very moment, unless you do have the cheeky one to ride the win, perhaps. But I thought we were settled on the game plan. I'll bring the Watcher in. -3. Oh, bring the Fizz back to hand. Fizz brings back, I believe, is their only called shot. Wait, what's Rebukes? Bring the Rebuke back to hand.
What? Yeah, I was gonna say, what is happening here? I feel like we totally missed like the most important part of why we were conquering with Fizz.
So yeah, so step 1 as a cheat, accomplished. You bring the Watcher back to Watcher back from the trash.
Now we go.
You bounce the Fizz. You
Yeah.
bring in, I believe it's the rebuke is 3 or less as long as you pay the power, and that is
Shenanigans.
GG. Tiger Death putting on an amazing performance in these quarterfinals of Dazzling Aurora. So you put it in your champion zone so it doesn't get Mind Splitter. What does the second text say? When I conquer after an attack, if you assign 4 or more excess damage, you may deal that much to an enemy unit. Okay, so maybe a bit of a Yone, but perhaps a bit more powerful.
Yeah, it's like Orange Tryndamere.
Right.
Sometimes there are just games where you just play this thing on turn 3 and your opponent, if they want to rebuke it, it's going to cost them every rune that they have, basically. And otherwise, it's just going to run the tables. We also know there's those Boots of Swiftness that could be coming down at any point after it, but um, the catalyst from Kisamo this game, certainly exactly what the doctor ordered. And again, no real early pressure from tigerdeath. This Malzahar, we're not really out there playing him to try to conquer. So Kisamo's gonna have plenty of time here, and it's just gonna come down to, again, is there a Mind Splitter the turn before the Dazzling Aurora is gonna come down? But for now, it's gonna be the Yone coming down to base with still gonna have enough runes next turn for a Dazzling Aurora. So 2 pretty key turns here.
And here we go, Corey. For the first time in this best of 3, the Malzahar will be utilized, killing yourself for
Wait,
2
what?
power. The seal
there it
and the
is.
Mind Splitter
Chow
getting played
chow.
out with no power investment. Wow, we forget the fact that you can choose yourself. That is some tech coming out from Tiger Dev. And to make it even sweeter, the Pack of Wonders bringing back the Mind Splitter back to hand. So what did he remove? Did he indeed remove the DA?
Yeah, it was exactly what I said.
Okay. Nice.
As predicted, back-to-back games here, we have our Dazzling Aurora taken just before the turn. That is the beauty of Mind Splitter being 7 and Dazzling Aurora being 9, is you get to play it right before, even before the Catalyst. Even with the Catalyst, rather.
Yeah, these are some insane plays coming out from Tiger Dev. And what is our Chow Chow counter up to, Corey? I believe that's an 8 right now.
The Chow Chow counter is up to 8. For those of you who may just be tuning in, the counter that we're counting is the number of Mind Splitters that have been played. Early in game 1, I joked that we would have 17 played by the end of this match, and I think we actually are pretty much on pace to get that right now.
If we do indeed get that game number 3, we might get interestingly close enough to that number. Funny enough, it was a bit of an exaggeration, but perhaps you were never too far off all along. But of course, Yone comes down, but there was nothing in the back line. Ezreal went ahead and put that Mind Splitter back in hand. We do know what's most likely going to be coming down one more time, and that should be devastating for the Sivir. She only has 2 cards in hand. We'll have 3 cards. Actually, we'll have just 1 card in hand after this Mind Splitter. Things are not looking too good. The name of the game sometimes is that card advantage, and Sivir not known for having a lot of tools to kind of refill that hand. Of course, I believe you do have those call shots we mentioned before, but that's going to be eating at your rune economy at that, because you don't have any seals on the board. But here he goes, bringing it up to 9 Chow Chow counters. It looks like the Volley Bear might just be getting taken out the hand. I don't think you're worried too much about her fight or flight, but what do I know? Ezreal is the Ezreal in top cut right now. Perhaps the number 1 Ezreal in our current Cash Cup. And back and forward, unbelievable. This Mind Splitter might just bring us all the way to the 17th Chow Chow counter, I believe.
I think we're going to test if there's going to be some insider trading and not. We're going to see if Kisamo may end up conceding before the 17th Mind Splitter gets played.
The over-under on the counter, I see. There's some bets going on right now, but unbelievable synergy. The Pack of Wonders not only works perfectly for the treasure trove, but of course to keep recurring that Mind Splitter. Now we're seeing why the Malzahar is so pivotal, because you're able to keep recycling. Not recycling, but you keep you keep your rune economy really efficiently played with those mind splitters, because if you're playing mind splitters every turn, you're setting yourself back. You're never really going forward. So I love the seals, I love the Malzahars, and I'm loving this Pack of Wonders. We never really consider the fact that it can bring back units over and over again, right?
Yeah, the problem with that is you've got nothing on board now, right? So Tiger Death has to convert all of this, taking all these cards out of Kisamo's hand, and he's got to start to get control back of the board, because it's going to be a slow burn right now, but both the Yone and the Volibear are going to be pretty difficult to get through, and I kind of jumped over it for a meme before, but I think the reason why you take the Fight or Flight over the Volibear is with the last rights, the Yone could
Right.
just res the Volibear anyway, so you might as well get rid of a card that you can for sure get rid of. And if you're going to try to catch back up in this game, you need to get rid of that Fight or Flight.
Yeah, in hindsight, I 100% agree, because last right, most likely gonna be able to conquer and hold in these situations, as Ezreal not looking to be the most presentable person in terms of might power, of course. So he's just gonna be chilling in that baseline for a bit now. Now, as you mentioned, the only bad side, the only downside, I should say, about the Pack of Wonders Mind Splitter combo is that you're not really pushing your game state, or progressing it, I should say, too much. As we see, Tiger Death is still at 0 points, hasn't been able to get a single conquer this game. So if Sivir is able to develop more and more board, if there's going to be something like a Dazzling Aurora this turn. But funny enough, I just don't think Dazzling Aurora is the card you necessarily want to deploy out, because of those factor recalls we saw in game number 1. Most people are sideboarding that in for their matchup. But no, Ezreal's electing to go ahead and mainboard factor recalls, which makes somewhat sense, because there's so much gear in Spiritforged. So being able to manipulate the might difference in combats with factor recall makes all the difference. It's pretty much like a might decrease, like a frigid touch, like a stupefy, just doing a bit of an indirect way.
To the point of Dazzling Aurora, you don't sign up for a tournament to not play Dazzling Aurora when you draw Dazzling Aurora. So I think you kind of just got to get it down. And we're gonna see this Sivir do a little bit of work here. I'm gonna predict a little bit that between this Yone and this Sivir, this board is gonna be locked up.
It feels that way, right? But the big thing to note, Sivir has to do 5 excess damage. So if you never have a unit to deal that damage, you're not going to be able to destroy too much units. Unlike Yone, and man, we're seeing the combos coming left and right. The last right, just in case there were units in the back line. But this is more so to increase the might levels of that Yone, making it just that much tougher to deal with. Because right now, Yone is sitting good at 7 plus 2, bringing up to 9. So 11 total might currently, as Ezreal's going to be able to pitch a card draw too. But it almost feels like no matter how many cards you have in hand, it still seems to be quite the problematic board state for Ezreal. I say that, but perhaps things like Watcher into... I mean, Watcher Bellows Bregs works for lower might units. We're talking about the big boys from Sivir. I don't think that 1-2 combo is going to be too effective this game.
It's a lot of might in the back line. Deflect 2 on the Sivir, just a not really hurts. The Deflect 2, like we say it and we think about it, but then like when it happens to you and you have to pay Deflect 2 on something, you're just like, this feels awful.
Right. It doesn't feel the best. But it looks like Ezreal already dug through literally double the hand side, or double the deck as the Sivir player, and we were worried about the factory recall. Funny enough, you never see it played out for something like a simple gear token, but effectively removes it from play. Is he going to do something like a fizz into factory recall? No acceptable losses. I guess you get rid of your treasure trove, and then they're forced to get rid of one of their last rights. So you do get to channel one, you do get to draw one, and acceptable losses has to be another key piece for the sideboard. But as predicted, the fizz comes down, recycling the acceptable losses. That's going to be a seal maybe taken out, because I think the Pack of Wonders is a bit too crucial.
The Pack of Wonders could, yeah. At this point, you came here to Pack of Wonders things,
Right.
And you can get more power again. I think that, yeah, the seal has kind of done some done of its work here. We discarded one, so I think there should still be one left around somewhere, hanging around in the, just 16 cards. Can we talk about the difference between the deck sizes remaining right now? Half
Yeah.
of the cards remaining.
We were hinting at it, and oh man, just the pack of wonders recycling and recurring the most key pieces to the Ezreal game plan, the fizzes, the Ezreals, the mind splitters, even that has the capabilities of getting back the watchers. It seems slow, but against the likes of Sivir, perhaps is the perfect opponent. I'm actually very keen to know how this game plan works against more aggressive strategies, perhaps things like Azir. Granted, we don't see too many Azirs in Top Cut, but if a deck is a little bit speedier, maybe this back and forth going back to the base, back to hand isn't as effective, but perhaps he just plays it differently, right? I'm just speaking how he's playing it versus Sivir. But I'm ready to see him try to do this game plan against another deck. But first things first, he has to get through Sivir. And this is our #1 seed Sivir. So she won't be getting taken down too easily, of course, as she goes ahead and conquers up to 5 this turn. Looking like she wants to bring us to that decisive game 3. If everything goes her way, of course.
Yeah, good spot for the Sivir right now. 2 cards in hand that we didn't play, so I'm assuming we've got some ways to potentially interact with any of the shenanigans that happen here. But when you're just kind of sitting here and you pass turn 2, it's just the Mind Splitters start to get a little more value. Problem being for Tiger is you're down 5 points, so playing Mind Splitters kind of isn't the ideal way to get caught back up in the game. So I think you're really looking for a watcher at this point.
And it looks like Rebuke will be coming down on the Yone. So Yone being returned back to hand, allowing most likely a simple conquer. But oh no, the game plan is removing
the Chow Chow
the
combo.
Yone. Is that up to 10 now, Corey?
Yeah, that is Chow Chow number 10 for those keeping track at home. So we're gonna combo
And for anyone just joining us, they're like, what are you guys talking about? But it's just keeping tabs on the Mind Splitter, of course. Yone hitting the trash for the time being. And if there's any window of opportunity, is the simple fact that Ezreal has a bit of a book in hand. The acceptable losses getting played out, so no recursion of these decks or of these units coming back for Sivir. A simple conquer for the Volibear would have been able to bring back the Yone, but this destructive gear removal plan seems to be quite fruitful for the Ezreal. That being said, that is a 6 point getting put on the board for Sivir. So just 2 remaining points, and she's going to be able to bring us to that game 3. Make it 7 points if you push with Volibear. I feel like it might just be smart to do so. Unless you feel confident of a double conquer the next turn, you could retreat the Sivir and then try your best to double push the next turn. That doesn't seem too bad as well.
Don't forget we've got Aspirant's Climb. It is a game to 9, so that the 6 points here, effectively you need 7 to kind of be at that magic double conquer to win. So, but you can, however, put 2 units into both battlefields, and if you hold both, that is 9 too. So, just going to be dependent on what we find off of all these stack decks and called shots.
Yeah, looks like 2 can play at the game of looking through your cards to find your key pieces, and will be invested in the first time ever, the Dazzling Aurora. It looks like all the acceptable loss in the factory recall might just be in the trash for now. This could be the way of closing it out. You're already at 6 points. Something like another Mind Splitter coming down should take down the most essential card to Ezreal's next turn. So let's see what he's going to be hitting off the top. We saw Deadbloom Predators early on, and there it is, Corey. A Mind Splitter off his own.
Contributing his way to the Chow Chow corner. Appreciate you, Kisamo. You are a gentleman and scholar.
You know, Corey, we're definitely hitting 17. If we go to the game number 3, we're already at 11. So it is very likely. But let's see on a serious note, what is going to be the option to remove from the hand? I think Arcane Shift feels decently good to remove. There is already 2 Mind Splitters. I also think Fizz, so he doesn't get back those call shots. But the top 3 I'm looking at are Watcher, Fizz, and Arcane Shift. What about you, Corey? Where are you leaning towards?
I think if you get rid of the Watcher, he just loses access to it entirely. Like if you discard the Arcane Shift, he has access to it through the Fizz. The Fizz, if you keep, he kind of just do whatever in his discard right now. But none of the cards in his discard right now can deal with your Aurora because you have the gold to be able to get rid of with the acceptable losses. So it's kind of covering that. So the only way to be able to get back the Watcher would be through the last rites. So you may actually think about the last rites potentially because it's like the cheapest way to get another unit back. So I think it's basically anything but Mind Splitter. I think you just don't take one of the Mind Splitters.
Right. I think we can agree
And
on that.
we're gonna go with gonna go with the Arcane Shift though. Actually,
Yeah, Arcane Shift was essentially another
wrong.
Mind Splitter plus a little bit of damage, but that last right does allow him to bring another unit back to base. The Fizz allows something like the Factory Recall to bring back that Dazzling Aurora back to the hand, but if you go Fizz, Factory Recall, that's 4, 2, 4, 6, 8 remaining runes, so you definitely have enough runes to play that 1-2 combo. We're speaking of the Fizz, Factory Recall into Mind Splitter to get rid of the Dazzling Aurora, but at the same time, that Sivir player might just be able to hold up to 7. Let me see. Sivir's at 7 might. Make that 6 might for the time being.
Ooh,
so I think you're going to be able to take that down. Is there a world that Volley and Mind Splitter do the heavy lifting this next turn, though, is the question.
So that Sivir finally gets out of there, and tigerdeath is going to get on the board. His first point in about a half an hour, I think.
I believe so, right? The very first point of game number 2, the Fizz comes down. As we would anticipate, something like a Factory Recall will be deployed out, so the Dazzling Aurora hits the board or hits the hand, and now I believe it's time for the Mind Splitter number 12 to come down, remove the Dazzling Aurora. Do you play it into the base? Are you a little bit fearful of the double conquer play? Actually, what am I talking about? There's an aspirant climb on board. You're still having to go up to 9 points. I don't know how I missed that for some reason, but there's not the win and the immediate next turn, as DA is the obvious target, so does take care of that. And now he's on the cusp of trying to stage a bit of a comeback, the likes of what we saw Sivir try to do in game number 1.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't say that I'd like eat a shoe or something if we got to 17 Mind Splitters, because that's we're up to 12 so far. So that's
right. Imagine if you said something along the lines. You would have to do it on stream, Corey.
No, I've learned not to bet against the impossible.
Right. All right, though, let's see what Sivir has in mind. You're so close. 3 remaining points to close things out. I think from this position, at least you want to get up to 7 and then set up something like that final double conquer play. But you do have to take down, what is that, 17 total might on the left-hand side. And you have a ride the win. Did you catch, what was that last card remaining in hand last turn when he Mind Splittered?
I actually missed it. Again, I was... memes have been distracting me a little bit.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you, especially after a 10-hour, make that almost 11-hour event. My brain is already a little mushy, but I think it was something like a ride the win and a Gus, I believe, I want to say.
Yeah, because I was looking at his discard because I was trying to see where we have 1, 2. So there's 1 rebuke that he used. Okay.
Yeah, we'll take a look while he's picking up a stack deck target. So he does have 1 rebuke for something like a Fizz, has those call shots. He doesn't have any units besides the Malzahar, so something to note, because he did leave the last right in hand. So just trying to think through some possible play lines, but he does indeed get up to that 7th point. As we mentioned before, that's just 1 more push of a double conquer, 1 hole/1 conquer, same idea. It's what he's trying to set up. Do you have another unit? But he sends in the Volley Bear. I was not prepared for this. Does he have something like a punch first to bring that Volley Bear up to 15 total might? That's perfectly enough to take down this entire battlefield. Taps 2, perhaps just going to be pushing things back to fight or flight, making that battlefield at a little 10 might. That's 10 to 10, but offering up the trade doesn't seem too ideal. There has to be something else in mind.
It's gonna be something. Is it another? Oh no, it's Ride the Wind.
Yeah, you can't move that. You can't move it from Valmon's lair back to base, but you can definitely move it back or move it to the other battlefield. So definitely enough, but you have to take down the Volibear in this situation. But you do go up to 8 points. More importantly, you got rid of 2 units from the side of Ezreal. So little by little, it looks like Sivir might be able to squeeze this one out. It looks difficult because I feel like Ezreal is still not completely out of options. Because if you get rid of one Mind Splitter, what is she conquering with, Corey? I don't think there's any units left in the hand. Slash, she might not pick anything off the top. She does go up to 8 points. But is this all she's going to be able to hold? This is awfully closer than it seems. 8-1. I say awfully close, but perhaps Sivir just has it locked in either way.
The Ride the Wind, luckily for Kisamo, readies that Mind Splitter, so we can just bring it back since holding is going to be impossible. We've got the 6, 7, 13 total power on the other side, so our one unit would be absolutely doomed that we have in play.
Yeah, and of course, just like the other side of the coin on game number 1, it's now Sivir, which seems like an infinite amount of room to just establish. The key thing is, what are you establishing? You seem to only have a whole lot of spells, not a whole lot of units. I mean, we could kind of take into account, the Ride the Wind on your opponent's turn. You're trying to hold for victory right here, right now. But the thing is, Ezreal has 9 runes available. We saw the Watcher in hand. The Watcher alone can get rid of the Mind Splitter. It does come down. What is that final card in hand? Actually, I just don't think any one card in hand could hold off a Watcher Accelerated plus the Malzahar plus the Ezreal at the very worst. But I almost thought he played the that would have been a little bit of a misstep, but does accelerate Watcher, and that should be killing the Mind Splitter, I believe.
Let's see if we've got a rebuke. Nope, Mind Splitter down.
And is this it, Corey? Is the moment of truth? Sivir needs to establish some kind of unit on the battlefield. If not, things are going to be rolling out of control. Things are starting to favor Ezreal ever so slightly. The pack or the treasure trove does allow him to see one more additional card. You desperately need something like a Deadbloom Predator off the top. Is he going to be fortunate enough to pick that up to take down at least one of these battlefields? Because if not, Ezreal will be going up to 5, potentially even 7. Oh, that might just be one of the best cards off the top. Is that a top deck? Because we didn't see it from one of the Mind Splitters previously.
Yeah, I think we may have drawn into that one either for turn or off of the treasure trove.
And yeah, let's take a good look at the hand for Ezreal. How is he going to be closing it out? I mean, Mind Splitter alone. I think you have to remove the Mind Splitter, but with that in mind, the shovel is still online. Pick your poison. It feels like a bit of a lose-lose situation. Factor recall if you were able to establish that DA one more time. Fist to bring back things like rebuke if it was in the trash. What is in trash anyways? I guess you could bring back Arcane Shift, get another Mind Splitter at that. The retreat to get another Mind Splitter. The rebuke is indeed, so he could close out the game even more simpler than we thought. And he does pick the Fizz as he probably had the highest play potential.
Yeah, it just gives him far too many options, I think, at this point. And hey, what do you know? 7 in the first game and 7 in game 2 means we are at 14 on the Chow Chow counter.
Wow, we might just accomplish it in a single game too. But 5-8, there is a Mind Splitter in the back line. He's going to be utilizing that Counters of Aeons to simply draw 1 as there's no more remaining runes in that rune deck. But now he has 8. Not even a Deadbloom Predator will be able to conquer either of these battlefields. Of course, he could push in forward that first Mind Splitter, take a trade, and then Deadbloom Predator. But it doesn't seem too worth it because you do have that retreat in hand. Actually, no. That was a retreat in trash.
I bought 15 arcane chips hoping for Ezreal to pop off. Hey, that guy knows stonks.
Guys, get your mind splitters now. That is one card. I don't think we have the influence as something like a regional, but I do think mind splitters, if it, I mean, it naturally has been increasing because of the Chinese regionals, but we're seeing it on another level on display here in this quarterfinals. So as we were perhaps expecting, offering up a 1-for-1 trade, and this could very well be that dead bloom predator. You're recycling one, or is there two? Oh, and the gold, and dead bloom predator does
There
indeed
it
come
is. Yeah.
down. That's still just a draw though, and you're completely tapped out. Is there a world that another watcher comes down? Because that's gonna be 6 to 7, and then you're definitely out of units from that position.
Yeah, I keep unfortunately not paying attention and remembering what the cards were that we've seen from previous mind splitters.
Yeah, and there
Um,
wasn't a. We know for a fact there wasn't two watchers. There was like a Fizz, a
Chat
Factor
knows.
Recall,
Yeah.
a
Oh, the
Bellows
bellows
Breath
breath.
as
Yeah.
we're
Oh,
seeing it
okay. Yeah,
now.
that makes
Wait, why
sense.
is he playing the deflect just to trade? I that makes sense though. That
Yeah,
makes sense. Just keep him off any card advantage.
that is the best that bellows breath is going to be pretty much for the rest of the game. So.
And here he goes, the climb back from the depths of defeat. It was literally, I believe, 1 point, or perhaps it was even something in the neighborhood of 0 points to 7 points for the Sivir. And little by little, closing the margins 8 to 6. Most likely will be holding for victory if you're able to maneuver one of these units up to the other side. Actually, no, I keep forgetting the Aspirin climb. But little by little, he will be making his way up to 9, and no units in the hand for Sivir. He goes up to 7, down to the final 2 points. This is unbelievable. If you ask anyone early on this game, there was like a 99% chance Sivir was taking this home, but look at the position we're finding ourselves in as the Chow Chow counter hits a respectable, what is it, Corey, 14, 15?
Yeah, we're at 15 now. This is very reminiscent of Patriots Falcons 28-3 when Tom Brady led the Patriots back from the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history.
Yeah,
Just
it
quick throwing
definitely
that one out
feels
there.
something of that nature for sure. Because I could have sworn Ezreal was all but out, but it looks like he never lost his composure and understood exactly what it took to get the job done. You get rid of the only units available for Sivir, and this is the top deck of a lifetime. Can Sivir top deck anything? Or more importantly, is there honestly anything that gets the job done? You need to take care of what is that 12 total might on the right hand side. A Mind Splitter push forward. You can't Dead Bloom Predator directly onto Aspirin Climb because there's no opposing unit. I think that is all but wrapped up unless I'm missing something. You let me know, Corey. Maybe chat at home. They're the experts sometimes. But what can Sivir do? Because I'm just not saying it. I think Ezreal might be progressing to the semis next.